New York Attorney General Letitia James is denying new federal allegations that she misled lenders to get better mortgage terms, calling them politically motivated. Let me just say to all New Yorkers and all Americans, the allegations are baseless. The claims come from a referral sent by the Federal Housing Finance Agency to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. The document accuses James of falsifying property records in both New York and Virginia. Federal officials say she listed a Norfolk, Virginia home as her primary residence in 2023 while still serving full-time as Attorney General in New York. They also allege that in previous years, she identified her father as her spouse on mortgage applications to qualify for better loan terms. Another allegation centers on her Brooklyn property, which she allegedly listed as having 4 units despite city records showing 5. In multiple interviews this week, including one with Spectrum News, she said the referral is part of what she calls a revenge tour by the Trump administration. It's important that individuals know that this is nothing more than the continuation of the tour where he went after law firms, universities, immigrants, women. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and most importantly, follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. With the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. Today we head back to New York because Letitia James is begging for money, with the possibility of a federal indictment looming, along with multiple charges of mortgage fraud. She is now asking her constituents and supporters for financial help to fight the legal battle that may come her way. This is a financial burden she definitely cannot carry alone, and that's what we're going to explore today. Now, one thing I want to make absolutely clear, something I've emphasized in previous videos, I don't want to hear anything about lawfare. I don't want to hear that this is retaliation from Trump. I don't want to hear claims about Trump weaponizing the justice system. This is a precedent that was set by the Democrats pre-election as they engage in lawfare. So now, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. As many have said, you shouldn't throw stones in a glass house. They set the precedent that if you don't every I and cross every T, we're going to come after you. Well, it looks like the same thing is happening to Letitia James now. But get this, James is still at it. Remember, her entire campaign for Attorney General was built around taking down Trump. And despite everything that has transpired since she took office, she's still after this man. She's still trying to take him down. Look at this article here. New York Attorney General Letitia James looking at possible insider trading around Trump's tariff pause. Let's take a closer look. James is scrutinizing whether insider trading took place in connection with President Trump's 90-day pause on customized reciprocal tariffs announced last week. The examination is still in its preliminary stages and is not yet a full-fledged probe, James' office confirmed to the New York Post. Let's hear what one of her Democratic colleagues has to say about this. Liberals such as Senator Elizabeth Warren have suggested that allies of the White House may have traded on advanced knowledge of the tariff pause to make significant profits in the markets. It's entirely appropriate to have an investigation to make sure that Donald Trump, Donald Trump's family, and Donald Trump's inner circle didn't get advance information and trade on that information, Warren told CNN. What makes the Democrats particularly diabolical is that they don't just go after Trump. They go after his family, his so-called inner circle, his friends. They don't just want to take him down. They want to destroy everyone connected to him. And what's so interesting about this potential probe from Letitia James is that if she wanted to, she could pursue many individuals and institutions within New York State. But she doesn't. Look at this headline. Apple buying frenzy ahead of tariff pause raises eyebrows. But Letitia James only has blinders for Trump. We won't go through that article now, but I suggest you read it yourself. What it highlights is that multiple institutions and individuals made big gains from being able to seemingly predict the right time to invest in Apple stock. There's a lot of potential insider trading there. But Letitia James isn't going after them. She's not investigating those players. She's only focused on Trump. You see, this wouldn't even be a story if Letitia James were fair and balanced in how she approached insider trading in New York. If she were going after everyone equally, that would be one thing. But she isn't. She only wants to hold Trump accountable. So once again, I'm not interested in hearing the crocodile tears that will come Letitia James' way when it's time to pay the Piper and Pam Bondi drops, that federal indictment on her for multiple charges of mortgage fraud. And when that happens, or if it happens, fingers crossed, because you get what you deserve, it's going to be extremely costly. Let me show you how much Trump has spent fighting his legal battles. Look at this article. Trump spent $76 million over the last 2 years on attorneys as legal troubles mount ahead of election. Let's break down the kind of money Donald Trump has had to shell out. The article says, Trump's Save America Political Action Committee paid Bart nearly $930,000 last year as an expert witness in New York Attorney General's civil fraud case that threatens the former president's real estate empire. According to new Federal Election Commission filings, Trump paid one expert witness nearly $1 million just for one expert witness. That's insane, but it gets deeper. An Associated Press analysis of new Federal Election Commission filings shows that the payments to Bardev are among $54 million in legal expenditures made last year by Trump's political fundraising machine. The spending came as Trump faced multiple lawsuits and dozens of felony charges in 4 criminal cases. Save America accounted for the bulk of payments, with 84% of the committee's spending going toward legal costs. Coupled with FEC data from 2022, AP's review found that Save America, Trump's presidential campaign, and his other fundraising organizations have devoted $76.7 million to legal fees over the 2 years. Believe me when I tell you, if Pam Bondi drops these charges on Letitia James' head, she will not be able to financially survive it. This will bankrupt her. Why am I so confident stating this? Well, here's why. As you can see here, Letitia James launched a fundraiser seeking donations of up to $18,000 per person in the wake of alleged mortgage fraud. Embattled New York Attorney General Letitia James is hitting up supporters for big bucks just days after the Trump administration accused her of alleged fraud involving several homes she owns. The money bid is in the form of an invitation to an event on Tuesday from 5:30 to 7 p.m., calling for contributions starting at $500. That's the entry cost, $500, and climbing up to an eye-popping $18,000, the maximum allowed by New York law in support of her 2026 election bid. And as we all can assume, most of this money is going to be shuffled into legal fees, right? It's no coincidence that she's holding a fundraiser charging up to $18,000 a head, just days after learning she might get slammed with federal indictment on multiple charges of mortgage fraud. But this little bit of money she's attempting to raise here, it's not going to be enough. Why? Because she's not good at raising money. How do I know this to be true? Just look at this here. This was from August 2024. Letitia James has raised over $1 million since Donald Trump's trial. What is this article saying? Let's get into it. New York Attorney General Letitia James has raised more than $1 million since former President Donald Trump's civil business trial began last October. Since the trial began on October 2nd, James has raised $1.1 million for her next political campaign, according to New York State campaign finance data. What's the point of me bringing this up? Okay, once again, this article was written in August 2024. The trial they're speaking of, Donald Trump's civil business trial, began in October 2023. So we're looking at roughly 10 months. In that time, Letitia James was only able to raise $1 million. She's going to need a lot more than that if she plans to fight, let alone win, against Pam Bondi's DOJ concerning the mortgage fraud. She's going to need a lot more, and this stuff gets very costly. She doesn't have the political cash to raise an enormous amount of money in a short period of time, and her inability to do so will bankrupt her and put her financially out of business. And we're seeing that happen right now with our man Eric Adams. Yes, Eric Adams. Though his federal indictment was thrown out and Joe Biden was seemingly unsuccessful in getting him locked up, it appears he may have been successful in bankrupting Eric Adams and putting him financially out of business. Let's get into this article here. Mayor Adams is $3 million in the hole for criminal defense as donations dry up. Oh man, Adams, let's get into it. Mayor Eric Adams is buried under a growing mountain of unpaid legal bills he racked up during his historic bribery case as donors to his defense fund completely disappeared. His Honor has an unpaid tab of more than $3 million for his fight against federal corruption charges, with his high-profile attorney, Alex Spiro, billing him nearly $2.3 million, according to the latest public filings. But Spiro's law firm has yet to charge Adams for representation this year, which could add hundreds of thousands of dollars to his growing debt. Quinn Emanuel charged the mayor about $775,000 in the last 3 months of 2024. That's crazy. $775,000 in just 3 months. At the same time, the fund failed to collect a single donation this year. He hasn't made $1 in donations in 2025. Oh my goodness, look at this here. Let's carry on, because it gets worse. Adams also owes the law firm of his former chief counsel, Brendan McGuire, more than $2 million, and his defense fund manager, Vito Pita, nearly $100,000, according to the quarterly filing with the Conflict of Interest Board released late Tuesday. Adams' campaign spokesperson, Todd Spiro, downplayed the abysmal filing, saying the mayor is exploring all appropriate avenues to address the debt without compromising his duties to the city. Eric Adams is broke. That man is broke. They have completely bankrupted him. He has well over $3 million in unpaid debt, with not a single donation to his defense fund in sight. If Eric Adams couldn't do it, I for sure have no faith in Letitia James being able to battle it out in court against Pam Bondi's DOJ over potential mortgage fraud. And mind you, Eric Adams went into deep debt and never even won a trial. This is all pre-trial. The case was thrown out. Imagine if Eric Adams actually had to go to trial to defend himself. Lord have mercy. And now let's look at Letitia James. We are at the top of Donald Trump's presidency. He's not leaving anytime soon. So Letitia James is going to have to see this through all the way if the charges do come down. And she will not be able to sustain the financial burden that's going to fall on her if that happens. And quite honestly, you get what you deserve. That's what she gets. So we'll see what happens. As things play out, I'll make sure to keep covering this. But until then, thank you for joining me today. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great one.